GYDA Talks, Robert talks to Amanda Barry. Amanda is a business and personal development coach who works with entrepreneurs focusing particularly on those running ethical, environmental or social impact businesses. She qualified with the Coactive Training Institute, one of the world's leading coaching training organisations, and is certified with the International Coaches Federation. She spent the first part of her career as a PR and comms consultant, which included running her own award-winning agency, and in the last 15 years has been specialising in sustainability and environmental issues. Robert and Amanda discuss coaching aha moments, burnout from the inside, what is coaching and how and why it is different from consultancy and training, plus much more.
Hello and welcome to the GYDA Grow Your Digital Agency Initiative Talks. And today I'm absolutely delighted to have with me Amanda Barry. Hello, Amanda.
Good morning. Hello.
It's absolutely great to have you on board. So for those people who don't know who you are, Amanda, tell us a little about who you are, what you're known for, maybe a little bit of the backstory.
Okay. I'd love to. Thank you. So I guess I'm known for really what I've spent most of my career doing, which is public relations and communications. I set off working for the computer games industry, then worked for a big London agency, then went and set up on my own, spent 10 years doing that. Then I went on and worked for the government for a while in waste and recycling. Which, by the way, I actually really love. That's when I really got the bug, first off, on the environmental thing. But I didn't really like working in the system very much. I'd worked for myself for too long, and I found it. It was lovely to have the wage, I have to say, every month. It doesn't matter if I sat on my arse and didn't do a thing all day, or I worked really, really hard. I got a salary, but anyway, I decided that I couldn't actually. Once you work for yourself, it's quite hard to go back in. So I lasted a couple of years, and then I went back to work for myself. And then I started, but while I didn't like the system, I did love the subject matter. So then I went on and started to specialise in environmental comms, and worked for a whole bunch of different organisations, from climate action groups to marine conservation. Recycling materials, the whole sort of range of things. And that's really what I spent the next quite several years doing. And then I managed to realise a long-held ambition, which was to train to be a coach. I'd first encountered coaching when I was running that first business. And in fact, that's where I met you, Robert, if you remember. I'd come on a business growth course of yours, and you introduced me to a coach, and I just was wowed by the whole experience of it. I've just been disturbed by the sun, so I hope that's not disturbing you.
Keep going.
Yeah. I remember thinking at the time, wow, I really love what she's doing here and what she's doing with me. And it really helped me at that time. I did actually, I wish I had worked with her sooner, because I did actually burn out. So I ran that business for 10 years. I loved it. But ultimately, I just gave it everything. And I ran out of steam. And I really think if I'd worked with her earlier, I would not have burnt out in the way that I did. I ended up walking away from the business. And anyway, so then I remember thinking, and I have worked with coaches since, and I've always worked with coaches at key points in my career. And I've always thought, yeah, that's really good stuff there. I'd like to do what you're doing. So I trained to be a coach, and I've been doing that last few years. And I decided to sort of bring together the two parts of my career, if you like, the passion of around the environment. I think it's like the biggest issue of our times. Clearly, we're living through extraordinary times right now, but climate change, etc. And I thought, well, I've got a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. I did a BSc in the environment just to increase my understanding and knowledge about what I was talking about, what I was doing comms about. So I thought, right, well, when I'm going to be a coach, I'd like to really focus on working with entrepreneurs, because I've spent most of my career running my own businesses, and also on the environment. So people who are running businesses focusing on ethical, environmental, or social impact work, I really love to work with.
Right. So
So
there's an
yeah.
awful lot there. Let's unpack it. I'd like to talk about three things you mentioned there. So the first one is doing, I mean, what was called PR, which has in a way become content management, which has become, that's been morphed into 8,000. But is it different doing that around environmental issues or sustainability issues, good works, rather than doing it for anyone else? Is it not just the same principles, but you're applying it to a different box?
Absolutely. I mean, public relations is the same. It doesn't matter what you're doing. But what I decided to do is, instead of promoting yogurt or mobile phones or just increasing a profit line, I thought, well, I'd rather be working really hard and using the skills of powerful communications that actually makes a difference. It's a cliche, but it's true. But the point is, the process is the same. You need a story, you need the reason, you know, you need the timing, you need to make it newsworthy, and then you choose the channel that you put it out across, and then you need to measure it.
Isn't the case that burgers have like 100 times more marketing budget than showing people how to compost more carefully, or showing people how they can use a sustainable item? Is that not the case?
Possibly, yeah, but it's only
So you're kind
because
of fighting a tougher battle in that sense.
yeah, because they're not as newsworthy. Or, I mean, if you talk about marketing, that takes in the whole band. That's advertising, it's paid for stuff. Whereas public relations, you're selling a story, an idea. And until recently, environmental stories have not been very sexy. They just have, you know, they've not been sexy. Whereas with the climate action and that, they suddenly started getting front page news because they were being more newsworthy, creating problems and chaos and all sorts of things. So that's why they chose, I guess, to go that route, to get on the news agenda.
Okay, second question. You kind of talk about your discovery of coaching like it was like an aha, and I have a very similar memory of going to Bristol University on a training course for small businesses, and going, wow, people do this for money. And these people know the answers to all these questions. They stand up in front of people and they talk to them about strategy and marketing and teams and finance. This is what a thing to do with your time. So I'd be really interested to just look at your aha with coaching. What was it about? Because you talk about it almost as if it was a I was lost, now I'm found experience. So
Yeah.
what happened there?
I think my first aha moment was actually building on what you talk about a lot, which is working on the business, not in the business. So I was completely in the business. It was my business. I was so passionate about it, and I was working really, really, really hard. But what coaching enabled me to do is to start standing outside of that experience a bit, but then start to incorporate all of my being, not just my left brain working really hard or a bit of my right brain. It was actually my whole self. And that sounds, yeah. So my aha moment was really when I realized that I could actually have somebody who was listening to me, not a friend, not a family. It was the space that I had, which is very precious. They were there to ask me powerful questions about what I thought about things, helping me discover my own wisdom, if you like. You know, we all want to read the right books or watch the right, you know, to try and get it, thinking it's out there somewhere. And I realized that the answers to a lot of these questions, I already had them, but they were buried. And I just thought, wow, That's special.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is something about that approach, which is, and we share it here, which is, you want to know how to grow a business? Google grow my business. You want to know how to increase prices? Google increase my price. So you probably know the answer. If you don't know, you know how to access the answer to the question. So the real issue is kind of what's holding you back from doing this properly, or why is it, if you know what you need to do, I need to sack Flossie. Why, poor old Flossie, she comes in for a lot. Why is it you don't do it? Why is it you're not prepared to do it? Why is it that you don't do it? And I think that's for all of us running businesses, I think it's really quite a complicated thing going on. Our identity, our psychology, our definition of our success, our ability to move goalposts, our ability to always think we could do better, our ability to be amazed that staff aren't able to be mind readers. It's like, it just kind of goes on and on. So the coaching got you to realize, yeah, there are the books, but this is actually more about Amanda's behavior that actually needs looking at.
Yeah,